everybody? Welcome in to the Basketball Bulletin. I'm Trevor Lane. Yeah, no sleep tonight. I want to jump on here and talk a little bit about the Spurs and the Blazers. As this game's going on, of course, we'll talk a little bit of Lakers. What an insane finish. Lakers, Rockets. That game was absolutely nuts. But also want to go through this game here that's happening right now in crunch time. It was looking much closer when I set up the stream, and now the Spurs have been on a run. It's 108-97 right now. The Spurs are up over the Blazers, and I do think this is a situation where the Blazers basically, this is a must-win for the Blazers. No Wemby, you're at home, you've got a chance to take a 2-1 series lead. I've said it before, I don't think the Blazers win a single game in this series that Wemby plays. So this is your opportunity. Any game that he's not in is a must-win for Portland, and they were doing well. They were up, what was it? They were up like 16, and then huge Spurs run. They've just been absolutely on fire. They're winning the fourth quarter 20-10, and now they're outscoring the Blazers in the second half 49-32. Dylan Harper is going nuts for the Spurs. 27 points, 9 of 11 shooting. That'll help make up for Wemby not being there. The Spurs 48% from three. That's how you replace a star player. You have an outlier shooting game out of everybody else, and that'll do it. 29 for Stephon Castle as well. So those high picks that the Spurs got force-fed for years, paying off. Stephon Castle, 29. Dylan Harper, 25. That's going to get it done. And Castle's 9 of 16. Harper's 9 of 11. That 18 of 37 shooting, that'll get it done. And combined from three, Castle not a good three-point shooter. He's 3 of 4 tonight. 7 of 9 from three. Those two guys are absolutely killing it for the Spurs. Meanwhile, for the Blazers, 27 for Drew Holiday, 18 for Scoot Henderson, 17 for Denny Avdia on 2 of 14 shooting. Not great for him. So this is not over. I know I said I was going to jump on here when I was over on Lakers Nation earlier. I said I was going to jump on Bulletin once Spurs Blazers was done, but I thought I'd jump on for the final 5 minutes here and get into crunch time. So here's Castle with the ball, driving, getting all the way to the rim. The Euro step throws it up, and Cornette throws it down. Man, the Blazers just can't seem to get stops right now. The Spurs are just out executing the Blazers. And the Blazers have been shooting a ton of threes and just can't hit them. They're just missing after miss three after miss three after miss three so far in the fourth quarter. Rockets, Red is crashing out right now. I bet they are. In fact, I think Donnie and I are probably going to talk about it a little bit tomorrow. That Lakers game was one of the craziest games of the season for sure. And for it to happen in the playoffs, what a fun playoffs it's been so far. What a fun playoffs we've seen around the NBA. Just some incredible games and some upsets. And there's another turnover for the Blazers. Man, the Blazers look like they just don't, even without Wemby, the Blazers just aren't on that level. They just don't quite have it. Blazers fans upset. They're thinking they should have got the ball here on this one. But it's been a fun playoffs, and I can't believe that down 6 with 28 seconds left and the ball in the hands of the Rockets, the Lakers won. That was insane that's actually the way that all played out. I still absolutely cannot believe that. Another bucket for the Spurs. Denny Avdia finally goes coast to coast and scores it. Boy, if the Blazers come back down 13 with 4 minutes to play, the way this game is going right now, it'll be maybe just as surprising as the Lakers win over the Rockets was. Castle pulls up for the jumper, misses that. All right, hey, the Blazers got to stop. Maybe something gets going here. Lakers series is over. Yeah, I mean, and there's the lob to Rob Williams. All right, the comeback's on. Down 11, 112-101, 3:25 to play. Yeah, this was one of those games where it really did feel like the series was going to be decided. At least the series in terms of could the Rockets make it a series again? To go down 3-0, we know what that means in a 7-game series typically. And the Rockets Rockets fans have to be so mad right now. And the Blazers just got to stop. Maybe they can get themselves back in this thing. The Blazers have got to fight back here and get the win. That Lakers-Rockets game, Ime Udoka was pissed after the game. Rockets fans have to be absolutely gutted. To lose a game that way, that was a must-win. I said over on Lakers, and Drew Holiday just scored. All right, single digits, 9-point game, 2:43 to play. We might be in business here, folks. We may have a fun one going here. Oh, Fox just got it. Yeah, he got to the line. De'Aaron Fox got him a bucket when they needed. Okay, so Rockets fans have got to feel like their team just hates them. Like the way to lose that game the way they did has to be absolutely insane. I am really curious to see how the Lakers respond to this win now on Sunday, because I do think they emptied the gas tank to a degree. Do they get Austin Reeves back? Does that help them out? Do they get Austin back? Here, I should send this over to YouTube or to X as well. Do they get Austin back, and does that help bring them fresh legs? Because I am a little bit concerned about the quick turnaround to Game 4. I think the Rockets are going to bounce back faster than the Lakers will in terms of energy. So does this wind up more of a gentleman's sweep? Do the Rockets actually win Game 4? I think if the Lakers make the Rockets stop and think about jumping on that plane back to LA, they can just get the Rockets to quit, to tap out. But it's a tough thing to play in an overtime game with LeBron James and Marcus Smart as your primary drivers there, and turn around 48 hours later and do it again and play again at playoff level. And the Spurs get a stop. Oh, the comeback may be off. Back to 11, 2 minutes to play, 114-103. This to me, even though the series is tied right now, 1-1, unless Wemby is done for the series, and I don't think he is, unless Wemby is done for the series, this is going to effectively eliminate the Blazers. This result, to get an outlier game out of Castle and an outlier game out of Harper, and I just mean they're very, very good. They just don't typically shoot this well. I think that's going to effectively eliminate the Blazers. I don't think the Blazers are going to win a single game that Wemby actually plays in. And to get a win in a game Wemby didn't play just buys Wemby that much more time to come back. And I think basically guarantees that the Spurs are getting through this series. Now, if you tell me Wemby's concussion symptoms are going to last for the next week and he's not going to play the rest of the series, okay, maybe there's something. Yeah, sneaker just went flying there on that play. Then maybe you got something. Then maybe it'll get back to being a series. But I think the Spurs winning Game 3 in Portland without Wemby and Harper and Castle just going absolutely nuclear, I think that effectively is going to, assuming Wemby's coming back, whether it be for Game 4 or not, I think this is going to knock the Blazers out of the playoffs. But you look at what's happening right now around the NBA. You've got the Lakers, who were the heavy underdog going into the series. You've got the Lakers, who are now up 3-0 and now pretty certain to win the series, right? Still have job's not done. Still have to go and actually win a fourth game. But not often that you see a team come back from down 3-0. So the Lakers in good shape in their series. They were the heavy underdog. The Blazers had their series tied at 1 apiece. You've got some interesting things going on here in the NBA playoffs. So it's been an exciting and kind of a fun playoff. It was unfortunate that the Celtics won tonight. Wanted to see Philly. It would have been a much more interesting series had Philly won in Game 3 on their home floor. Unfortunately, the Celtics did pick up the win. And yes, I'm going to be biased about that. But you look at the standings right now, the Thunder and the Suns, we know what's going to happen in that series. But the Wolves are up 2-1 on the Nuggets. I wouldn't have predicted that. I think the Nuggets are in big trouble. If Aaron Gordon is hurt, and if Jokic is the version of Jokic that we saw last night, the Nuggets are in really big trouble. And Cleveland's up 2-1. The Raptors, did they figure some things out? They had a really good fourth quarter, but I'm not going to buy the Raptors are the team that's really going to knock out the Cavs. I think the Cavs are going to be just fine. Now, if the Raptors turn around and they win game 4, okay, maybe that changes some things. Then you've got the Hawks up 2-1 on the Knicks, the 6 seed over the 3 seed. And the Knicks now basically have to play game 4 like they are desperate. They have to play desperate in game 4 because they need to be. The Hawks beat them twice by a point, but Atlanta's got some things that's causing them problems. And the Jalen Brunson Cat thing, having them on the floor at the same time, has been problematic. I think the questions about whether or not Jalen Brunson is a true 1A guy are probably fair. And now the Knicks have got to prove people wrong. They got to bounce back and show they are the team that we thought they were. But this is why I had the Hawks as the team that nobody should want to see in the East in the first round. Rather see the Raptors, rather see the Magic, rather see the 76ers. The Hawks of the bottom tier teams, if you were a top seed, a 1 through 4 seed, the team you least wanted to match up with was the Hawks. And we're seeing why. We're seeing why. They've got a lot of length. They've got a lot of athleticism. They can defend at a high level, and they've got guys that can create problems for you. And that's what the Knicks are dealing with right now. And I don't know what's going to happen if the Knicks are going to get through. The Hawks may very well knock them out. Blazers just need to win next game to tie it up. Still a series. It's still a series, but it's not about the series record. It's about when is Wemby back. That's what it's about. You just burned a no Wemby game. You burned a no Wemby game, and even worse, you gave the Spurs a win in a no Wemby game. Or the Spurs took a win in a no Wemby game. That's the problem. That's the issue. It's not that they can't tie it up. Sure, they could tie it up. But as soon as Wemby comes back, the series is over. Portland won't win a game when Wemby's back. So you had to capitalize on every win that you could get while he's out. And they didn't. That's the problem. Where's the optimist? We missed that dude on Lakers Nation. He's going to join me on Sunday for game 4. I believe for the post game. So he's going to join me for that. Gabe Vincent is the Hawks' lucky charm. I'm glad it's working out for them. Glad it's working out for Gabe. Glad it's working out for him. If I'm Houston, I want to get swept to watch the stench off this season with the KD burner and poor performances. Yeah, I mean, how much was that KD burner really hanging over the Rockets? I mean, it didn't. They don't look like a team that enjoys playing basketball together. They don't look like a team that enjoys playing basketball together. They look like a team that is not a cohesive unit. That's what they look like right now. They look like a team that doesn't want to be together. They look like a team that when it's summertime, that when their season is over and it's summertime, and that may happen on Sunday, when it's summertime and their season is over, they look like a team that everybody's just gonna sign the yearbooks, have a great summer, but nobody's writing down their phone number. Sorry, that's an old reference, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, they don't look like a group of guys that are gonna go hang out together during the off season. They don't look like they're having fun playing basketball. That's what they look like right now. And this loss to the Lakers tonight, it's not going to help that. It's not going to help that. Oh, my gosh. I'm just looking through a little bit of Rockets Reddit. Ooh. They're crashing out. I think Donnie and I will have to talk about that tomorrow. Emo Udoka said, grow up. You're not that young anymore. You've been to the playoffs once, and we watched every situation just now. And a lot of Rockets fans saying, hey, why wasn't KD on the bench? That's what I'm seeing there too. They look like I'm here so I don't get fined. Yeah, they do. They look like I'm here so I don't get fined personified. Where was Kevin Durant? Like, really, where was KD in that game? Why was he not on the bench? You could say, well, he was getting treatment. It's not like Luka was in Spain getting treatment. Luka was in Spain getting treatment. And that's fine. So why was Kevin Durant not there? Ime said he was getting treatment. That's fine, but it's a playoff game. Is he in Houston? Did he stay in LA? Like, getting treatment is fine, but Austin was on the bench with the Lakers. Luka was on the bench with the Lakers. It's different when Luka's in Spain. You know what I mean? I would think if you're KD in a playoff game, you'd want to be there to support your teammates. Right? Even on the off chance, right? You're the veteran. You're the veteran on the team. Even on the off chance, it's a playoff game. What if you see something on the floor? As a veteran player who's been around this game for so long, been around this game forever, right? Kevin Durant, veteran. Kevin Durant has been around the NBA, has been an NBA player for so long that he was a Seattle Supersonic. That's how long KD has been around, right? Wouldn't it be very possible, if not likely, that at some point during the game, KD would have seen something, a tendency, something he would notice that he could share with the team? Maybe even if it was just with one player. Yo, Tari Eason, hey, look, LeBron's playing this way. We really need to make sure you're handling it like this. Make sure you're doing this. Watch this guy for this thing, right? Just that little, like, veteran type stuff. Giving guys advice. A few little pointers here and there. Couldn't you still help the team? Couldn't that matter? Like, that's not a big thing. But what if KD is sitting there on the sideline and as a player and as a guy who's played against Marcus Smart, has played against LeBron James for years? What if he picks up on something? Couldn't he share that with a teammate? Couldn't that actually impact the outcome of a game? I think it could. And beyond that, how about just being a good teammate? Being out there to support your team? I know you can say he's getting treatment, but it's not like he's in another country getting treatment. And I would get it if it was a regular season game. You'd say, look, it's a random Wednesday night in January. Who cares, right? I get it. This is a playoff game. And more than a playoff, this is a do or die playoff game. Your first home playoff game of the season. You lose the game and you effectively know what that means for your series. To not even be there on the bench? That's not a great look. That's not a great look. KD can't read double teams, let alone player tendencies. I get it. But could KD say, hey, Jabari, I noticed the defense is shading this way. Get to this spot. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time. It's the kind of guy that you want to pick their brain. Van Vliet was on the bench giving advice, right? Fred Van Vliet hasn't played a single game all season. Do I think Houston should have brought in Chris Paul or James Harden? Yeah. Yeah, I do. They should have done something. We talked about it at the trade deadline that I didn't understand why Houston wasn't bringing in a guard. Why not bring in somebody who can set up an offense for you? Why not do that? That was the expectation when they said, oh, no. Because they lost Fred Van Vliet so late. The conversation was, well, it's so late. Do you want to go make a panic trade right now? No, let's play out the season. Let's go from there. That's fine for the regular season. But you knew for months that you needed to add somebody who could organize the team and run an offense. That you needed to do that. They just weren't willing to pay the price, didn't think it was worth it to pay the price to do that at the trade deadline. And guess what? Now they're paying the price for not doing that. This is the result. This is the result. I thought it was insane at the time that they weren't going out there and getting a guard, that we weren't hearing the Rockets are getting Kobe White, that we weren't hearing they're getting Ayo Dosunmu or anybody else, any of the other players out there, that they didn't go add that piece. Bizarre. And they may say, well, Fred VanVleet's going to come back next year. That's fine. But right now, you just lost out on, by what looked like at least getting to the second round. Think about how much money you just lost just by not having, even if you got swept by the Thunder, that's still 2 more playoff games that you just lost. You just lost out on that. What if you had gone farther? What if you had a real shot? And you didn't want to spend what it would take to get somebody to actually give you a chance? Because you have this huge hole in your offense? Because you don't have anybody that can set it up and run it? That was insane by the Rockets at an organizational level to not do that. And KD, somebody made the comment in here, KD probably wants the team to lose. Like, is he ready to be done? Does he want to go? And then what happens? Right then, how much did we clown James Harden for constantly going to a team and then wanting out? And then didn't he look like he got ahead of things in Philly? No, I mean, he got ahead of things in Brooklyn when he wanted out there. And he went to Philly. He looked like he got ahead of things. Once the dust all settles, we went, oh, James Harden saw what was coming. Rather than James Harden is fleeing this team. But how crazy is this, though? If KD does suddenly want out of Houston, the Lakers chased James Harden out of Houston. You remember that? James Harden's final game as a Rocket was against the Lakers, and he quit in that game. He quit in that game. He looked like he did not want to be there. It would be a stretch to say he gave 50% effort in that game. And then the Rockets said, screw it, go home and we'll trade you. If the Lakers break the Rockets here and sweep them and KD asks for a trade, the Lakers would have also kicked KD out of Houston. How crazy is that? This looks so bad on KD. It does. Show up. Support your team. Be there on the sideline. Help the young guys. Tells you, you know what? Like, think about what Vince Carter did. Think about what Vince Carter did. He spent years after his career was effectively over. He spent years playing on teams where he's getting minutes off the bench. He's the old guy. He wasn't Vince Carter. He wasn't the guy that was half man, half amazing anymore. But he said, you know what? I love the game. I love the game, and I want to be around the game, and I want to help the next generation. And I give him so much credit for that. I have so much respect for Vince Carter for doing that. That'll never be KD. That's never going to be Kevin Durant. Because he doesn't give a shit. Like, if he did, he would be there. He would be on the bench, coaching up his team, firing them up, coaching them up, getting them ready. Man, I can't be. You want to hear, it is killing Kevin Durant to not be on the floor. It's killing him to not be out there. Austin Reeves is trying to come back from a 4 to 6 week injury in 3 weeks because he wants to be on the floor. When he's got free agent money coming this summer and he's trying to get back on the floor in 3 weeks from a 4 to 6 week injury. Luka is going over to Spain and getting God knows what procedure, the super soldier serum or something, to try to get back out on the floor. To try to get back out there and play through things. Because it's killing him to not be in the game. You definitely don't get that impression with Kevin Durant. You definitely don't get that impression. And you look at what's happened. You know, he leaves the Warriors. Should he have ever left the Warriors? Probably not. But he leaves the Warriors. He goes to Brooklyn. He's not happy in Brooklyn. Wants out. Wants to go to Phoenix. Finally, he gets to Phoenix. Goes to the Suns. Not happy in Phoenix. The Suns decide they want to move on from him. The Warriors want him back. He goes, no, I don't want to go there. Shuts down that trade. Goes to Houston. Now he doesn't look happy in Houston. Are we going to be talking about a Kevin Durant trade this summer? Is Houston going to take Kevin Durant's deal and now try to flip him again? Does Houston regret? Like, I don't think they gave up a ton. But the fact that we could even have a conversation about Dylan Brooks' impact on the Suns and had Jalen Green been healthy, maybe outweighing what Kevin Durant's done for the Rockets. And KD's not had a bad season. He had a really good season. But this team doesn't look like they like each other. You got $43 million under contract next year and then a player option. Is there any team right now saying, sign me up for grumpy Kevin Durant? For Kevin Durant that can't care to show up and be there on the bench to help a young team when he can't play? I know we may say, well, the medical staff may be telling him and all that. No, you're there for your team. You're there for your team. Look, if you're trying to force your way onto the floor and the medical staff is telling you, like, no, you're going to hurt yourself. You cannot get on the floor. That's one thing. But the medical staff say, well, we'd rather do more rehab with you. We'd rather work on your ankle a little bit, some treatment with you. We'd rather do more of that in the back. No, I'll do treatment after the game. My guys are on the floor right now. I need to be with my team. There's no reason for him not to be out there with his team. No reason. Would the Wizards trade for him? The Wizards would put together Trae Young and KD and Anthony Davis and then pray they could get a time machine. Unofficial stat, but NBA record being up by 6 with 30 seconds left is 1,713-2. It's only happened one other time. Has to hurt if you're a Rockets fan. Is that I'm assuming that's just playoff games? I couldn't believe what was happening while it was happening. I couldn't believe that the Lakers somehow came back and won that game. I thought for sure our conversation in the postgame was going to be about how the Lakers will let the game slip away, and now suddenly Game 4 was going to be pivotal. That you don't win Game 4, and suddenly it's tied up, and it's a whole new series, and all of this. And instead, down 6 with 28 seconds left, and you don't have the ball? There were 28 seconds left in the game, and the Lakers did not have the ball. And they're down 6. That's game. I mean, if you're the Rockets, the only thing you have to do is not turn it over. That's it. That's ball game. Walk the ball across half court. Hell, most of the time, teams would give up in that situation. Teams wouldn't even go for the steal. They'd just stop and concede. Because what are the chances that you're going to score 6 points unanswered? The Lakers did that and had time for a Rockets possession to try to win it, and had time to rebound that miss and go for the win. We saw one of the craziest, most unlikely outcomes you can imagine in the NBA tonight. That's what we saw. That was one of the most unlikely things that you'll see in the NBA this season. So that sounds right. 1,713-2. Because how often of those 1,713 wins for the team up 6 with 30 seconds left, how many times did the opposing team just concede, just stop playing? Probably most of them. What was it that KD said about Jabari? I don't remember exactly what the comment was. The foul on Smart was just plain stupid. I'll bet he got an ear. Oh, that was one of the dumbest plays I've seen. That was. I mean, that it wasn't even like Smart flopped or something. He just jumped into him. He just jumped into him. Smart goes to shoot the three, and he just jumped into him. Jayshawn Tate. Oh, got it. A comment that's something that's not repeatable. I really don't remember exactly what was said in all those messages. Wow. Jabari Smith is a very good player. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, he's a good player. The crazy thing is that Jabari Smith is the most like KD on the roster, stylistically, when you look at the way they play. And I'm talking about just the jumper. He's not KD. He's like, poor man's version of KD or Timu KD or whatever you want to use. But Jabari Smith is a guy who should grow with KD on the team because he should be able to pick up on all the little tricks that KD uses. That stylistically, Jabari Smith should benefit more from Kevin Durant being on the Rockets than anybody else on the team. Jabari Smith over Rui? Yeah, I think Jabari's better than Rui. It's close. They're very similar, but I think Jabari is better than Rui. Like, KD had a chance to really help that kid grow. And I hope he does get there at some point. I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago in Summer League when Jabari Smith was young. That was a game that I'll never forget that I was at. The ball gets tipped out. Something happened. No, it was a hit-ahead pass, and Jabari Smith turned, spun, and fired a three for a game winner. It was nuts. Right, straight on three. That dude can shoot. He can shoot. He's not as good as we thought he'd be in the draft. Remember for a little while there, he was like the guy that everybody thought the Magic were going to take, number one overall. And then they pulled the big swerve. They fooled everybody. Everybody thought it was Jabari Smith, number one. And then the Magic tricked everybody and took Paolo Banchero. We thought Jabari Smith was going to be the number one pick in the draft. He winds up going number 3. He was considered to be a really good player. Bronny outscored the Rockets bench. How is that? And it's not even like Bronny had some, Bronny went for 20 tonight or something. No. Bronny had 5 points. The Rockets bench shot 1 for 11. 1 for 11. And Bronny outscored him. Does the Rockets not addressing the point guard issue cost their season? Feel like Kobe White would have helped them. It may cost Ime his job. Yep. I think it did. Look, the Rockets offense would look totally different if they had a guy who could really, that wasn't Reed Sheppard. Boy, Reed Sheppard looked nervous as hell on that final possession. If they had somebody who wasn't Reed Sheppard that could run an offense, that could set things up, that could get guys shots, that would make a big difference. And they don't. They don't have that guy. Amin Thompson can't shoot. Alperen Sengun can't shoot. Tari Eason, who knows day by day whether or not he can shoot. Jabari Smith can shoot. But the Lakers are daring guys to make shots. The Rockets bench was 1 for 11. And the starters weren't great shooting the ball either. Reed Sheppard shot 6 for 21. 6 for 21. The guy's a shooter. And he shot 6 for 21. Imagine if you had somebody that could actually set them up for decent looks, probably looks a little bit different. But there's a reason why this team has to crush everybody on the offensive glass. Because they miss a lot of shots. They're not a good offensive team. They just make up for it by volume. One thing I'm afraid if AR or Luka come back is Rui isn't efficient enough off the bench. Lakers need to re-sign Smart Kennard this summer. Yeah, I agree. Rui has had some good games off the bench, others where he struggled. To his credit, he's talked about how he's going to play wherever the coach needs him to play and all that kind of stuff, and I think he will. But I don't think Rui should be in the. He certainly shouldn't be starting over Marcus Smart. I think that has become crystal clear. I know that was a conversation early on in the season about who should start, but it's very clear now that no one should be taking Marcus Smart's starting job. So if everybody's back, I think Rui should go back to the bench because he's going to have to. Is he going to be efficient off the bench? He was not going to play 45 minutes or whatever he played, 44 minutes tonight. He's been over 40 minutes in all 3 games in the series so far. He's not going to do that. But I think Rui can absolutely still make a difference coming off the bench for this team. But he'll be more of a, 20-something minute per game player, if that, rather than 40-plus minutes, and you're just relying upon him for everything. Luka and AR's first game back versus OKC. Wow, that would be crazy. If the Lakers don't bring Austin back for Game 4 and they do advance, and then Luka and Austin are ready to return, and they got to play the same team in the same place where they not only got a beatdown in terms of the scoreboard, but also physically both got hurt, that would be some a funny little twist of fate there. Rui and Austin bit on a replay of a Sengun pump fake. Yeah, that was a rough moment for Jackson Hayes, biting on that pump fake. We saw him do it twice in Game 1, and that was a frustrating moment because you wanted to invite. It was on a 3, and you wanted to invite Sengun to shoot the 3, and instead Jackson Hayes bit on the pump fake. So that was unfortunate to see. And then it happened again in crunch time in this game, and Sengun went past him and got a dunk. Overall, though, Hayes has been good. And yeah, what's going on? Dorian Finney-Smith made his series debut. Boy, he does not look like the same guy anymore, does he? 0 for 5 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, 11 minutes. This is a guy who, in the playoffs for the Lakers last season, played all the minutes. He played 41 minutes in Game 4? In Game 4. Barely came off the floor. Played an entire second half of a game for the Lakers. Didn't play particularly well. Shot 37% from 3, so you give him that. But this is a guy who was playing heavy minutes. Look at the end of the season for the Lakers. Look at the month of April. Right, played 31 minutes a night in April. March, 32 minutes. They were relying upon DFS heavily, and now a year later, he can barely get on the floor. Coming off of an injury, and that's the problem. I hope he gets back. I hope he gets back to where he was. I hope this is just a bad year for DFS and that he can make it back from this injury and be back to himself next year. But always a concern when you've got a guy that's at his age, 32, going to be 33, coming up here in a month, or in a few weeks, I guess. He'll be 33. So best days are probably behind him. Can he be better than this? Yeah, and I think the injury really did take its toll, but he really only has 1 year left under contract because the third year on the deal is non-guaranteed. So he really only has 1 year left on the contract. So DFS is going to need to get right this summer. Otherwise, it could be a tough spot for him to be in. Oh, could you imagine had the Lakers signed him? And let's say the Lakers, because really the math it came down to, you could either, and I know Jake LaRavia was not good tonight, and has not been good the last few games, but you could have had Ayton and LaRavia or Dorian Finney-Smith. And Marcus Smart was part of that too, right? Could you imagine if the Lakers had DFS right now and he was having the season that he's had for the Rockets? Could you imagine how vilified he would be by Lakers fans right now? Is DFS back in Houston? Like next year? Next season? He's under contract. They might trade him, but he's under contract next year. Assuming fully healthy, thoughts on Austin Reeves coming off the bench? OKC for Jake LaRavia or Jared Vanderbilt just to match physicality and set the tone. I do think when Austin first comes back, he's going to come off the bench. It's what we've seen. And I do think he'll be on a minutes restriction as well. I think and maybe that'll be for the OKC series. I don't know. But I do think he's going to play off the bench initially. Because I'd have to assume there's going to be a minutes restriction for him. And if you're talking 20 minutes a night or something, you're probably best off just picking your spots to put him into the game and bringing him off the bench. I think that's probably what's going to happen. And that's fine. That's fine. He could still be helpful. For a Lakers team that struggled with depth, getting Austin back at all could be a help. Will definitely be helpful. Just having another guy who can handle the basketball, just having another guy who can get to the right spots. Max Christie on this team would smart. Yep. That would have been great. But the Mavs wanted him in that trade. You got to give him up. You got to give him up. It's unfortunate. He would have been a great fit. Easily would have put, obviously, I mean, it's a no-brainer right now, but even back then, would have put Dalton Connect in the trade if they had the option to do that, which over Max Christie. But the math would have changed. The whole math of the trade would have changed. But not re-signing DFS was a blessing for the Lakers. Lakers don't get Smart or Ayton. Lakers in 4. Luka on minutes restriction when he comes back, right? Yeah, I'd have to imagine. That's the thing we have to remember is you get Austin, you get Luka back. It's not like you're getting them back at what they were right before they went out. You're getting them back probably on a minutes restriction, and you're getting them back with having not played basketball for a month. Like, just naturally, there's going to be rust that's going to be built in there. And then you add in the fact that they're not 100% healthy, that they've just been dealing with injuries. I'm not expecting Luka to come back and be a 35 point a night guy immediately. And that's tough. Now, you'd still rather have them back than not, because even Luka at 75% is better than anybody else that you're turning to off your bench. And the same thing with Austin. But we got to remember, these guys aren't going to be 100% when they come back. Trevor going overtime. Hey, if the Lakers can do it, I can. Where's Donnie? He's probably asleep. I'll do something with Donnie in the morning, though. Smart, Christian, Goodwin. Goodwin was good, too. He was a nice find for the Lakers. But ultimately, they got Marcus Smart by letting Goodwin go. Would have been nice to keep them both, though. Do I think it's best Austin Reeves sits out the series even if healthy? I think there's an argument for sitting him for Game 4 just as a precaution and say, look, Game 4, we're going to sit you. We'll see if we can get through this series, and then you can really rest and not have to play at all. The flip side of the argument is if we play you, you're at least coming in on fresh legs. And if we can get 20 minutes out of you in a Game 4 that our guys just played an overtime game, LeBron played heavy minutes, Smart played heavy minutes, maybe that can help us finish off the series, and then we can be done and move on and have a few days off and all of that. Maybe that's the thought. But I think there's an argument to be made for, hey, if we can, let's not bring him back for Game 4. We got a chance to close out the series. If we don't, then okay, we bring him back for Game 5 at home. You can make an argument to do that. Just to give him that much more time. The announcer literally said on the broadcast the Rockets are going to close this out. I mean, it's not like it was a 2-point game with 45 seconds to play and the announcer was saying that. It was a 6-point game. The Rockets had the ball. Like that stat came up earlier, the earlier chat comment said that's happened twice in 1,700 games. That wasn't like disrespectful of the announce crew or anything like that, because that's pretty much what looked like it was going to happen. LeBron got mad at Ayton for not boxing out after their initial stop, and JJ immediately went to Jackson in the last 4 minutes of regulation. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate the love there. But, yeah, especially against a team like this, the Rockets, who they're struggling shooting the ball. They look like the moment is too big for them. And what you can't do is give them all the extra possessions that they want. And you've got to battle. You know they're going to win the offensive rebound battle, but you have to try to mitigate that as much as you can. Cut down on that edge as much as you possibly can. And so if you're not boxing out, if you're not sharp, JJ's got the ability to make a change, you're going to make a change. That's the way it's going to go. Too bad the Suns have no chance of beating the Thunder Force. Yeah, they really don't. They really don't. When Luka comes back, does Kennard still stay in the starting lineup, or does he come off the bench? I see Luka, Smart, Kennard, Braun, Ayton as the starting five when the Lakers are healthy once again. I could see it, especially if Austin is still on a minutes restriction. I think Luka, it's tougher to bring him off the bench than Austin, especially with a hamstring, because once you get warmed up, do you want to go cool back down sitting on the bench and then go into a game? You know what I mean? So I could see something like that, especially if Austin is still on a minutes restriction, where they would bring him off the bench and keep that as the starting lineup. It'd be interesting. I could also see it going the other way, and they just say, hey, once Austin's 25 minutes plus, all right, you're back in the starting lineup, Luka, and let's go. And they can just lean more heavily on Kennard off the bench if they like what they've got him. And he's been very good. He had a little bit of a down night tonight compared to his other two games, but he still was fantastic. Still had 6 boards, still had 6 assists. Luka's barely moving. He ain't coming back. I'm not saying he's coming back tomorrow. Not saying he's coming back tomorrow. He should play 10 minutes on Sunday just to get off a little rust. If you're going to play Austin, I'd probably play him a little more than 10 minutes. But it'll be interesting to see, assuming there's a minutes restriction, what that would be at. How long is Wemby out? We really don't know. I mean, it's concussion protocol. It just depends on when he can pass all of the tests. So that's the thing. Concussions are tricky, and they're not something to mess around with. He's got to be able to pass the tests. So we'll see. San Antonio, though, bought themselves a lot of breathing room with this win tonight. There'd be pressure on him to come back if Portland went up 2-1 and have another game coming at home. But the win without Wemby takes a lot of the pressure off of San Antonio. Can the Magic upset the Pistons? I don't think so. I still think the Pistons will win, but they play a similar style. And in game 1, the Magic were better at the things that the Pistons are also good at. So it's not out of the question, but I would be surprised if the Magic did beat Detroit in the series. Now I'm rooting for the Suns to win against OKC, even though I hate them. Yeah, I mean, hey, even if they won a game, 2 games, just make the Thunder actually exert themselves a little bit. That would be nice. All right, everybody. I am pretty exhausted at this point. In totality, from the Lakers game to now, this is now almost 6 hours straight behind the microphone between the Lakers game, the post-game show, and then jumping over on here. But I thought we had an even more exciting game brewing between the Spurs and the Blazers. Then the Spurs ran away with it at the end. But still, I had a good time jumping on here and talking through, especially when it was a wild night in the NBA, especially that Lakers win. Absolutely insane. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you hit the subscribe button here on the Basketball Bulletin. Thank you again, everybody. Donnie and I have already been texting back and forth earlier tonight. We've got some plans for some stuff we're going to put out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But till next time, everybody, see ya and stay safe.